welcome back. So I went through and I fixed all of my linting errors. The last couple were, so first it was a bunch of single quote, double quotes. You can actually do that really fast with the find replace. You just go file to file, replace all, replace all, replace all. That's easy. The last couple were interesting. There was a complaint about a triple equals versus a double equals. Triple equals, just as a reminder for JavaScript, is it checks that the type is the same and the value is the same. Whereas double equals just checks for the value. Personally, I don't care, but I had the linter complaint, so I fixed it. There's some trailing white spaces. There was a const instead of let inside of an array. I was surprised. I didn't know you could use const in that situation, so I learned something from my linter, but it seemed to work fine. But I eventually got it to say all things passing. You can see that my changes are, quite extreme. I think the main thing I need to figure out is how to get my auto importer to use single quotes for the sake of the linter. So it really was not that exciting. But I went through and I did it, right? So there's that const versus let thing. I didn't know you could use const, so I learned something. So this is my lint fixing. Next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and do my check-in. This is, or not my check-in, my deploy, right? So first make sure I'm in the right path. So I'm at the top level, which is good here. And I'm going to say Firebase init. So my Firebase tools, I really only want to do hosting. And then I'm going to find my project. So I'm going to find Quick Chat. I want to use the dist folder, rewrite to a single web app, you bet. Next I want to do an ng build -prod. While it's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and check on my check-in here. And you can see that so this was my find replace that I used everywhere. So this is my firebase.json that got generated. And then this is another Firebase thing. So this is from my Firebase init. So check that in, submit it to the cloud. Let's go back and see if my ng prod has finished building yet. Looks like it's at 92%. Oh, and my ng prod build failed. It says my post page stream is private. That's true, it is. And it's only accessible from the post service. Yep, those things are true. So I'm just going to make it not be private anymore. So I think that's what I need to do on that. So here's my post service. And my private stream here I ended up using in the HTML. Totally valid thing. I used it for the load more button. So since I used it somewhere else, it didn't build for me. So now I have to change that to public and I have to wait for it to build again. Hey, and this time it worked. So it looks like everything's good there. So now I can do a Firebase deploy. Firebase, so picky about spelling. Doesn't it know I'm almost done with this app? So now it's deploying. And it finished the deploy and it gave me the URL for the host here. And so actually I've already got this up over here. So you notice that it's blue before when I did it. And now it's this pretty color. And I've got my delete capabilities. So I can say hello class and I can undo it. And if I had enough posts, it would show a load more button. I'm pretty confident about that. So if you're taking this class for credit, you can go ahead and submit it. I suppose I should have tested to make sure sign in and sign out work, but they should really be the same. So if you're taking it for credit, you should go and submit this. The next thing that we're going to be doing in this class is going to be with image uploads, but I do want to mention that you've got a lot more skills that you can use for your lab that you've been working on and building up. So this is the photo bucket lab. So now there's two types of sign in on PhotoBucket. You should be good at both of these now. So sign in with Google is the one that we specifically figured out in this lab. And you should be able to do everything in this app now, right? Well, almost everything. So you should be able to have all photos that are kind of listed here. My photos, and you should know how to do that filter for those. Anything that's my photos has the little pencil and delete icons on it. You'll notice that in this app, there's a different choice. There's no pencil or delete when you show all photos. It's just not there as an option. Whereas in my photos, it's always there. So there's a different choice that was made between the two apps. If you click on a photo, it takes you to like a full screen view of that photo. Not quite full screen, but nearly full screen. In the full screen, there's also an edit option. And so when you edit something, you can edit the name, or you can edit the URL. And if you hit save, it'll change the name there. If you go back, it'll show it over here as well. There's a lot of pictures. It's hard for me to find. There it is, Halloween. I know it had to be one of mine. If it wasn't one of mine, then it'd be kind of trouble. So in my photos, you can also edit things from here. So Keegan's class, that was in 2017, Keegan's class. You can also delete things. So if I wanted to delete Keegan's class, he's gone. You'll notice that I didn't offer an undo option. That's just how this app works. And then you can add new pictures, and you can do it by an existing photo URL. This is the only thing you know how to do now, is the existing photo URL and a caption, but you should know how to do all those things. The only button on this whole app that you don't know how to do is upload an image. So that's the only thing that you don't know how to do. You know how to do absolutely everything else. So I strongly recommend that you go through and you work the whole darn app, every piece, except for that image upload. And then after you learn how to do image uploads, you'll have very, very little to do, right? So you do have a homework assignment. There's a lot to do. It's this lab you're working on. Don't put it off to the last minute, because it'll be really hard to do all at the last minute. All right, that is it for this unit. The next one's going to be about image uploads, and we will see you then. Bye.